The midday sun was hot and bright on Owino Market, casting long shadows and illuminating the vibrant colors of the stalls. The heat was almost tangible, wrapping around you like a heavy blanket. It's a maze of stalls, full of sights, sounds, and smells. Everywhere you look, there's something new to catch your eye. Brightly colored fabrics, fresh produce, and an array of trinkets and treasures. It's the heart of Kampala, a place where the city's pulse can be felt most strongly. The market is alive with energy, a microcosm of the city's diverse culture and vibrant life. I'd heard stories, whispers of a darker side. Beneath the surface of this bustling marketplace, there were tales of theft and deception, of a hidden world that operated in the shadows. A hidden world of theft, just below the surface. It was said that skilled pickpockets roamed the market, their fingers quick, and their eyes always on the lookout for an easy target. I was there to meet David, a former pickpocket who now helps the community. He had turned his life around and was using his knowledge of the market's underbelly to make a positive impact. His face and eyes told stories of a past spent in the market's back alleys. The lines on his face were like a map of his experiences, each wrinkle a testament to the life he had lived. David agreed to show me the secrets of Owino's hidden criminal world. As we walked, he pointed out places where pickpockets would hide, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As we walked through the crowded paths, the energy was strong. People moved with purpose, their faces a mix of determination and curiosity. The market was a living, breathing entity. Vendors shouted about their goods, their voices mixing with the sounds of shoppers arguing over prices. The air was filled with a cacophony of sounds, each one adding to the market's unique symphony. The air was thick with the smell of spices, sweat, and something else I couldn't name. Excitement, maybe? Or fear? It was a heady mix that made the market feel both inviting and dangerous. I felt a hand brush my pocket. It was a light touch, almost imperceptible, but enough to send a jolt of adrenaline through my body. I turned fast, my heart pounding. My eyes scanned the crowd, looking for the culprit. It was a moment of panic, a reminder of the stories I had heard. A young boy, maybe 10 years old, looked up at me with big, innocent eyes. He seemed out of place in the chaos of the market, a small island of calm in a sea of activity. David put a calming hand on my arm. His touch was reassuring, a reminder that I was not alone in this chaotic place. "Easy, Lewis," he said, a knowing smile on his face. His eyes twinkled with a mix of amusement and understanding. "Let's just say you've had your first taste of Owino's underbelly." His words hung in the air, a reminder of the hidden dangers that lurked just beneath the surface of this vibrant market. David explained how Owino's theft rings worked. He had spent years observing the intricate web of operations that made up this underground network. "It's organized, Lewis," he said quietly, "like a well-oiled machine. Every person has a role and they all work together seamlessly." He described a system of criminals, each with their own job. From the lookouts to the pickpockets, everyone knew their place and their purpose. "First you have the watchers," David said, pointing to a group of young men sitting on some sacks. "They blend into the background, unnoticed by most. They're the eyes and ears, looking for easy targets. They watch for anyone who seems distracted or vulnerable. Their eyes scan the crowd, calculating and hungry. They could spot a potential victim from a mile away. Then there are the distractors, often young boys or women with babies. They seem harmless, but they're crucial to the operation. They create diversions," David said, bumping into you, asking for money, anything to get your attention. They make you look the other way. Their innocent looks hid a plan, their desperation a tool. They were masters of deception, using their appearance to their advantage. "And then," David continued whispering, "you have the pickpockets, the phone snatchers, the real pros. These are the ones who do the actual stealing." He pointed to a few figures blending into the crowd, moving smoothly, almost unseen. They've perfected their craft, making it look effortless. They're lightning fast, in and out before you know it. By the time you realize something's missing, they're long gone. The victims often stood in confusion, checking their pockets, trying to figure out what had just happened. It was a well-rehearsed dance of deception and theft. Despite the presence of law enforcement, the network thrived. They knew how to avoid detection, slipping through the cracks of the system. As the day turned to dusk, the market began to empty. But for Owino's network, the work never stopped. They were always watching, always waiting for the next opportunity. David explained that stolen things didn't stay stolen for long. In Owino, the market had its own rhythm, a pulse that thrived on the constant exchange of goods no matter their origin. "There's a whole network of middlemen," he said, his voice tinged with a mix of admiration and disdain. These middlemen were the lifeblood of the market, ensuring that every item found a new owner swiftly. "Buyers ready to take anything," he continued, pointing to the eager faces of people inspecting items. From electronics to clothing, nothing was off limits. These shady characters worked in the market's darkest corners, ignoring where the goods came from. It was an unspoken rule: don't ask, don't tell. "Phones, wallets, jewelry," David listed, his eyes scanning the myriad of items on display. Each piece had a story, a past that was quickly forgotten in the hustle and bustle of the market. "It all goes through a complex web of buyers and sellers," he explained, detailing how the market operated like a well-oiled machine. Every transaction was a cog in the larger mechanism of Owino's commerce. He explained how phones were quickly wiped clean and ready to be sold again. The technicians worked with precision, erasing any trace of the previous owner. "And where does it all end up?" I asked, not quite believing it. The sheer scale of the operation was overwhelming. "Right back here," David replied, gesturing to the stalls around us. It was a cycle, a never-ending loop of goods being stolen, sold, and resold. "Tech shops, electronics dealers, even some clothing vendors," he elaborated. The market was a microcosm of the larger economy, with each vendor playing a specific role. Owino's a closed loop, Louis. Everything gets reused. In this ecosystem, nothing went to waste, and everything had a purpose, no matter how dubious its origins. Pickpocketing was just the beginning, David revealed. Owino was full of scams and tricks. "You have to watch out for the money changers," he warned. "They'll cheat you in a flash." He described elaborate tricks where people were promised amazing deals, only to be left with nothing. "They'll sell you fake goods, counterfeit products, anything to make a quick buck," David said, shaking his head. "It's a dog-eat-dog world in here, Louis," he said sadly. "And the saddest part is, the victims are usually the people who can least afford it." A community grappling with theft voices from the front line. Deeper in the market, I talked to shopkeepers caught in the middle. Mama Sarah, who sells fabric, shared her frustrations. "It's a daily struggle," she sighed, her tired eyes showing years of hard work. "We work so hard, but we're always worried about thieves." John, a young electronics dealer, agreed. "It gives the market a bad name," he said. "It scares customers away." He talked about the constant fear they lived with, but despite their hardships, they were strong, determined to survive in Owino's dangerous world. They had learned to adapt, to protect themselves. The long arm of the law challenges and triumphs in policing Owino. Police officers were visible in Owino, patrolling the crowded paths. I spoke to Officer Cato, a veteran of Owino's crime scene. "It's a constant battle," he admitted, "a game of cat and mouse." He talked about the challenges, the market's huge size, the clever criminals, and the lack of resources. "But we're making progress," he insisted, talking about recent successes in catching gang leaders. But he knew police work wasn't enough. "We need the community's help," he emphasized. "They need to report crimes, to work with us to make Owino safer." Navigate Owino like a pro. Safety tips for the savvy shopper. As my time in Owino's Underbelly ended, David gave me some safety advice. "Be alert," he urged. "Always know what's happening around you. Keep your valuables safe, close to your body, and out of sight. Don't show off your money," he warned, "and be careful of anyone who comes at you too aggressively." He suggested not carrying a lot of cash and using mobile money instead. "And if you are robbed," David said calmly, "report it to the police. Don't suffer in silence, speak up and seek justice." Owino's enduring spirit, a story of resilience in the face of adversity. Leaving the noisy chaos of Owino Market, I felt amazed. Despite the problems, the constant threat of theft, Owino's spirit was strong. It showed how resilient people are, how determined they are to survive and thrive. Yes, Owino had a dark side, a hidden world of crime, but it was also a place with incredible energy, a mix of cultures, a testament to the ingenuity and entrepreneurial spirit of its people, and it was that spirit, that strong will, that would win in the end.